What is up, guys and girls? Welcome to episode number 154 of The Nonsense Review. That's right, we've got the same amount of episodes as William Shakespeare wrote sonnets. I'm your host as always, Devon, and joining me equally as always is Rick.
Hello everybody. Yeah, that's actually quite an interesting factoid.
Do you think our podcast will be as as well documented as William Shakespeare's sonnets?
In terms of number of people who give a shit, like multiple hundreds of years after death, there's a possibility because the human race is expanding at an unprecedented rate. Though, almost certainly not.
Okay, that's what I was expecting to hear. It's like, wow, that's surprisingly optimistic, because no one gives a shit about this. We sort of announced, or I rather shared on Twitter, that this is the last pre-recorded thing we did. Turns out that's a lie. Due to outside forces, Rick's kind of tied up for the next couple of days, which, oh well, it happens. So we're recording our news so that we don't have an extra week of news to dump next week and tacking it onto one of our pre-records. That pre-record is an Adventure Time. It's the very first episode of Marceline, Series 1, Episode 12, Evicted.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah. I can't remember what we said about it, but I'm pretty sure we're rather high on it. So yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
But before we get to that, what we're going to do is, before the news, Rick, over in the States, it's February. Well, here it's February as well, but over in the States, February is Black History Month.
Yes, it is.
This is a bit weird because in Britain, Black History Month is in October, but it feels like it means a bit more of something in America, so we're kind of jumping on that a little bit. And much like we did for Gay Pride in June last year, and we're probably going to do it again this year, we're just going to quickly talk about something, or rather shine a spotlight on a black person who is, I think influential is the word?
Yeah, we did Pick of the Rainbow, and this is the Black History Month version of that.
Yeah, it doesn't sound quite as good if you go Pick of the Black, does it?
No.
We're not going to start with influential person. I think we're going to start with fictional character because it's usually the more fun one to do. But next week we'll do influential actual person. So Rick, who is your favourite character from a series, a show, anything, who is black?
I went with this as both influential to me, influential to the world, and I do like the character as well. It kind of borders on the actor as well. I'm going to go with Lando Calrissian because he wasn't the first black person to be in Star Wars, but he was the first black character.
Who was the first black person in Star Wars? Because I'm drawing a blank.
James Earl Jones.
Well, fuck-a-doodle dandy. Yeah, okay, you never see him on screen, so it completely slipped my mind.
Yeah, absolutely. So, A New Hope had no black faces.
Yeah, James Earl Jones has been a very important part of Star Wars since, well, pretty much day one. And yet, he didn't appear on screen, so in my brain, there's no black people in Star Wars before Lando.
Yeah. A little mini shout-out to Donald Glover, who made a very, very compelling, charismatic Lando in the Solo movie. Like, I would watch a series of Donald Glover Landos.
No lie, he somewhat stole the show in Solo.
Oh, totally. But yeah, the original Lando, as in Billy D. Williams' Lando in Empire Strikes Back, he's really, really charming and quite a compelling character, mostly because he's having to play all sides at once, not through any major choice of his own, and it's how fucked over he gets that solidifies his actual loyalties. I think the most sincere you ever see him in Empire Strikes Back is when the Falcon doesn't launch and he goes, I told him to fix it. I trusted him to fix it. It's not my fault.
I mean, I think it's a testament to the character and to an extent the actor as well, where he is a piece of shit in that movie. He is an outright villain, and yet by the end he has already done a U-turn to, yeah, go Lando.
Yeah, go Lando, go. Let's ignore that he's wearing Han's clothes.
A fact I only learnt because of Family Guy's piss take.
Yeah, ditto. But yeah, Lando, great character, great actors, both of them. Billy D. Williams, to this day, will appear in anything that you pay him for, pretty much. So, if you're making a Star Wars game and you want Lando, you can get the authentic Lando, no problem.
I mean, fair fucks to him. Like, I remember he did a funny cameo on Scrubs as well.
Yeah. I don't remember that.
Yeah, JD was trying to, was wooing a girl, and Turk didn't like the girl, but turns out the girl's godfather was Billy D. Williams, and Turk freaks out and goes, oh my god, it's Lando Calrissian! I think I'm remembering that correctly anyway.
But yeah, I think that's about enough out of me. Who is your number one black character?
Cornelius C. Fillmore is my pick.
Fillmore!
Cool, I'm glad you reacted that way, because most people, whenever I fucking bring up this character or this show, look at me like I'm insane.
Yeah. He had a goth assistant who was basically the reason that a lot of teenagers tuned into the show.
I mean, I think I know why you like the goth assistant, because not only is she goth as fuck, she's voiced by Tara Strong.
Yeah.
Also, another appearance from favourite Owl Mum as well, because she was in that show too.
Is she? Okay.
Yeah, she was the principal of the school. Do you remember the voiceover movie guy back in the day for the trailers? In a world where blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was also in that. Like, it had a talented voice cast. Don't look up. During this, I looked up the actor who voiced Fillmore himself, and it was a depressing read. So I recommend not doing that. But as a show, it was such a cool concept. Here's a cop detective drama, but it's set in an American high school. The very first episode, Rick, and I remember this because they finally put it on Disney Plus, and I decided to watch it, is essentially a parody of Hannibal.
Okay.
Except instead of murdering and cannibalising people, their Hannibal ripoff is graffitiing bathroom stalls.
Yeah, fair enough.
They've managed to transition it into a kid-friendly thing, but I'm like watching it, I'm going, this is just fucking Silence of the Lambs. But yes, we've got 4 weeks of news to catch up on, guys, so brace yourselves, buckle in for a bit of a, I don't want to say slog, but it's going to be a slog if you don't like the news segment. You're probably going to want to jump forward about an hour if you just want to watch the review. So with that in mind, Rick, how has your week been, buddy?
My month, indeed. We started out by going to Australia. We arrived just in time for Aussie of the Year and Aussie Day, which included a guy, which is like one of the most interesting things I've ever seen. He's an adventurer and explorer. He tracked the original Antarctica mission on basically as a very skeleton crew, just to show that he could do it. The thing that he got Aussie of the Year for, he started digging for fossils, and he found some dinosaur fossils, and he found a place that is so abundant in dinosaur fossils that you can go there today, start digging for fossils, and find one. And he's made this whole entire dinosaur village where you can go, you can stay as long as you like, you can get fossils, and you can contribute them to his museum. This is great because it's a part of, I think it's in Queensland, that is completely devoid of tourism. And one woman wanted to go there for like a week, and she's been there 6 years now. And he got the Australian of the Year award for that, and I think it's like super cute and super wholesome.
So essentially, all of that sounds very fun, but it sounds like he got the award for like, you've made us money, thank you, sir.
Yeah, a little bit. But then again, like, I would give that award to that guy over Rupert Murdoch's tax revenue any day.
I'm not fucking slagging him off by any means. Like, at the end of the day, who didn't have the dream as a child to dig for dinosaur bones?
Yeah. He's like a modern day John Hammond, except real.
I was going to say he's the Willy Wonka of dinosaurs.
We had an apartment that bordered Lake Burley-Gherkin, which is a false lake in the middle of Canberra that was made by a couple of dams.
So wait, does false lake just mean artificial then?
Yeah, it's an artificial lake that used to be part of a river, but now it's like an iconic lake that basically is the centre of Canberra. And also another thing that happened on Aussie Day was a drone show. They would normally have done fireworks, but they have acquiesced to the requests of dog owners and embraced it by making it into a full-on show. So we have essentially the silent fireworks, but like with actual production values. We saw it the night before Aussie Day as a practice run, and then again on Aussie Day as the real thing, and then apparently it was so successful that they showed it again the next day, but we could see it from where our flat was.
Well, here's the thing, Rick, is dog owners get a lot of guff for the wanting of banning of fireworks. But fireworks are such a fucking hassle. Like, it's not just... Like, a lot of people go, oh, dog owners fucking wanting their dogs to not fucking shit themselves because of fireworks. You've also got ex-soldiers with PTSD. You've also got the fact that no fucker picks up every single firework they launch once it's burnt out.
No. Well, one of our family members who lives over there, who lives in the very immediate area, says, oh yeah, we regularly get firework detritus in our back garden. Also birds.
Yeah, it's not great for them.
They inhabit the same area and probably wouldn't appreciate explosions happening nearby.
Probably not. But fuck me, could you imagine a little sparrow must think it's Armageddon?
Yeah. Especially one who's seen a volcano before. Oh shit! Sky volcano! Other things that happened, we went to Cockington Green, which is a miniature village. One of the things that I took a picture of happened to be a extremely eerily faithful replica of the main street where a friend of mine lives.
Okay.
And another thing that we did there was I had a Golden Gay Time at Cockington Green.
Fucking what?
The Golden Gay Time is a Australian ice cream lolly.
Oh, okay.
It's basically a caramel flavoured lolly with caramel biscuit crumb around the outside. It's good, but it's the kind kind of thing that we couldn't have on the snack review last year.
So it's kind of like a Magnum type thing, right? It's not an ice pop.
Yeah, it's like caramel ice cream. I guess it's kind of a bit like a fab.
Yeah, that's fine. It's just you're saying lolly and you're saying caramel, and I'm like, caramel as an ice pop sounds fucking disgusting. So I wanted to clarify.
The entire time I was doing 99% of the driving. It's actually really easy to drive over there, though. It's basically the same as it is over here, with a couple of differences. Like you form a lane sometimes, and it tells you lane 1 form, because apparently the bit at the bottom is the bit you read first, so it should say form 1 lane on the floor. It's on the correct side of the road anyway. We did pretty much every national museum that we didn't do in the past. The Sound Archives, which is a lot smaller than the Museum of Film and Photography where I am, and we did the National Museum in Sydney, which had a Ramses II exhibit.
Cool.
It didn't show his actual mummy, but it did show a 3D representation of it after they found it.
Well, even if you had the actual mummy, which I don't think anyone should be displaying corpses, no matter how old. And I say that having been to a museum that displays corpses.
Yes.
I've forgotten which one it was, but fuck, that was really jarring, because I went to that museum as a kid and I didn't expect to see a dead body that day, and like it was so mummified and dry it barely resembled a human. But it's like, even as a kid, I was thinking, this is fucked up.
A little bit, yeah. And I borrowed an AC unit because the flat we were in had AC in the main room. It had AC in the master bedroom, but the secondary bedroom, which was obviously for kids don't matter. So we borrowed an AC unit from the family, and it has convinced me to probably buy that exact same one now that I'm home. We lost our passports.
Yeah, I don't actually know the story behind this, because the extent was you got very mad at the person who lost them, and that's about the extent you've told me.
Yeah, so we needed our passports to sign up for membership to a club, and we weren't going to the club that day, so I said, let's just leave them in the house where they're safe, and I didn't get my way, so they got lost.
Sorry, just for those listening, and for my benefit as well, when you say club, it's literally going to be a drinking club, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we talked about it last time. What the club part actually is for gambling. So you need to prove that you're a certain age before you can gamble, and if they keep all the gambling areas locked behind an age gate that way, then they can keep kids out, basically. Yeah, you need to join to be a member, and once you're a member you get discounts, and that would have been good for us because we basically went there every third day or so.
Sure.
It was decent stuff. Like, you could get a fillet steak for like 20 quid. Yeah, that consumed like the next week and a half. What should have been a real easy trip to the High Commission, which we can see from our flat, turned out to have been a 6-hour round trip to Sydney to go to one of the consulates, because the High Commission isn't a consulate, which fucked me off. Yeah, so getting to Sydney that time was dead easy. Getting to Sydney the next time was an absolute ball ache, because there are tunnels underneath Sydney. It's basically, instead of a subway, they've got car tunnels, similar to the one in the Stonecutters episode.
We do.
So yeah, they've got like a full-on like multi-lane tunnel system going all the way under the city, which probably includes the river as well. Chinese New Year happened, and we saw some people that were surfing on skyboards, which they looked like they were just held up by something, but it was actually just water. But the water was so thick that it might as well have just been pillars of iron.
What the fuck's a skyboard, Rick?
Oh, the idea was it was like meant to be a hoverboard, but instead of, acting like it does in Back to the Future, it was just held up by a hose and jets of water.
Okay, sure. Yeah, alright, I got a picture. Sorry, I just wasn't sure if you fucked up the word surfboard or if it was a different thing, so I had to ask.
Yeah. So I could see this actually becoming a really interesting looking sport if you just give two people who have these the gladiator giant Q-tips that you had on gladiators.
Do you know what the funny thing is? Like, before you said it, my brain was thinking, make them fight.
Yeah. Yeah, give them the foam Q-tips. Yeah, it's great. But yeah, that was the more interesting thing that happened. Like, obviously they do the people doing the dragon thing, which they do every year, which it should have been more impressive because it's Year of the Dragon, but it was just the thing they do every year. The thing that stuck out in my mind was the Sky Surfers. And I went to a speedway. I have not been to a speedway before.
What, it's in a racetrack?
Yeah.
Cool.
I was Desi driver. I still managed to pound 4 cans because we were there for long enough. And it was fun. It was a nice way to meet different people who are not just family. The interesting thing there is that even though Bogans get a bit of a bad rap for being uncultured, like the way that they're not cultured is by being fun. So I'm all for it. They also told me a couple of stories about ghosts. And I made one of them actually crack out laughing by doing the Jimmy Carr one. There's a really easy way to tell if your house is haunted. it isn't. And but apparently they all believe in ghosts. So after laughing, they then went on to tell me about real ghosts that are in that hill over there, because on the hill next to it is an old army training camp, and people used to crash into that hill over there, and that's why it's haunted.
Here's the thing, Rick. You and I are atheists.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a fact we broadcast because we really don't give a fuck. But with the territory, you can't then all believe in fucking spectres and spirits and stuff, but not believe in some sort of greater power. That's my look at it. However,
yeah.
If I'm in a creepy place, it's dark, and there's weird noises, my brain immediately goes, there's a fucking witch in these woods.
Yeah.
And then 5 seconds later, or when I'm away from the scary place, I'm like, boy, my brain just goes straight there, doesn't it?
Yeah. Your brain just goes haywire. No, it was a pig. I nearly got T-boned by a pig.
What does that mean, Rick?
Oh, driving home late one night when my eyes fell a strange sight. There was a pig that was running at full speed into the side of the car, and if I was going any slower, it would have gone straight into the door at full speed.
How big was this pig?
About the size of a dog.
Sorry, and also, was it actually a pig or was it like a boar?
I couldn't see tusks, but apparently Australia has a problem with wild pigs in that some of them escaped, and it's a very common Aussie problem that things outcompete the natural wildlife when they're released into the wild.
Yeah, we all know about the cane toad.
Yeah, the cane toad, rabbits, pig. They've still got rabbits, by the way, and cats is another one. Like, you can't have a cat unless it is going to be an indoor cat for the entirety of its life, in which point, why the fuck have a cat?
Yeah, okay. One of the beauties of a cat is you just leave your window open and it fucking takes care of itself.
Yeah, it leaves, it comes back. It might have a few feathers stuck around its mouth, but oh well. Yeah, they don't want that happening because the cats are essentially a genocide event for local wildlife.
Sure.
But yeah, we got nearly T-boned by a pig. And we also went to see a place called Naruma, which is, I believe it is the Aboriginal word for colourful. And the idea is that the whole bay becomes incredibly colourful at different times. It's one of the places where you get the bioluminescent
algae.
Plankton. Yeah, algae, plankton. Yeah, the bioluminescent algae. They weren't there that day, but when they are, you can kick it and they glow. And
so go up to the beach, kid. What do you want me to do? Just kick the water. Pretend it hurt you. It's like, why? Because you'll see sparkles.
Just kick it. It's like Power Rangers. Fuck it. We didn't get to see that, but we did get to see some really nice scenery. And also, some guys found a mako shark. They caught it, brought it in, gutted it, and tossed out the remains, which looked like a Pokemon, to the elements. And the elements included a bunch of little fish, a stingray, 99 seagulls, 1 cormorant, and a seal. Quite a lot of wildlife supported by the gutting of this shark, which should not have been out of the water.
They eat it? The shark? The people who caught the shark?
Yeah, well, they took the meat fillets back home in a cool box, so I'm assuming that they were going to grill them up that night.
Oh man, I'm just making sure, because otherwise that seems pointless.
Yeah, totally. Oh, yeah, and people who remember last year where I managed to hit a car park. When I hit the car park, it was by manoeuvring poorly in a car into a post that I didn't see because it was like an inch thick and I was parked next to it. The car park is gone, so now I have the last laugh. Victory is mine. They've demolished it in favour of, in that area, a new block of flats, but they're also stretching out like a full-on tramway rail to the entire city, so...
You say you had the last laugh, Rick, but all I'm hearing is they've given you a bigger target.
They have. But yeah, that's enough from me and my trip to Australia and things that happened to me in that time. So how about you? How's your month been?
First and foremost, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth came out.
Yeah, it did. I saw a couple of clips on this.
It's a really fun game, but boy are my emotions being tugged because it's such a fucking... We've essentially got 2 protagonists. We've got both Ichiban and Kiryu, and Ichiban is so fun and yay, exciting. And then we go to Kiryu, and it's like, I think Kiryu's dying in this game.
Oh no.
But I also said that during Yakuza 6, so I just don't know. I'm on chapter 9. There's allegedly 14 chapters. As always, the side content is the best.
Yeah.
This game has got the most fun parody of Pokemon I've ever played.
Isn't this one where you get hookers or something?
No, it's called Sujimon. All of your Pokemon are just dudes.
Okay, just dudes.
Like, yeah, I'm not even joking. And they play it so straight. And And that's to its credit. The first time you're introduced to Sujimon battling, you go to basically Sujimon Stadium, and there's two people fighting, having their Sujimon fight, and one guy wins, and the other guys, Sujimon, are all knocked out. And you've got this guy saying so earnestly, "No, Billy, how could I have failed you?" And he's mourning the loss of these just grown-ass adults lying on the floor. But if you took that scene and replaced the adults that have been knocked the fuck out with Pokemon, it's just a scene from Pokemon.
Yep.
Oh, it's so fucking good. They also have an Animal Crossing minigame. They give you an island to manage, and boy, have I sunk far too many hours into that.
Yeah, we know that you're an Animal Crossing aficionado as well.
I am, but it's also, like, it's just really well done. It's basically the MO of Yakuza.
Yeah, good stuff.
Most of this game is set in Hawaii, so for the first time in a long time, we've actually got a new map.
Okay, yeah. I know it's in Hawaii because Kason appears and says hello.
Yeah, but she was in the last game, and that was in Japan.
Yeah, but she was just a, Was she actually Kei in that one as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not the first time the characters have met Kei.
It's the first time Ichiban's met Kei, because the last game was Kiryu.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a bit weird. They're both called Kei, but I don't know if they're both actually the same person, because bear in mind, in the last game she did the weird live action hostess thing where it was footage, whereas in this one she's actually a character in the game with a model.
Yeah, she's got a character model now, yeah.
Like, I even messaged you when I met her saying, I'm pretty sure I just met Kate-san again. Like, 95%.
Yeah. I like how she is just a character in the lore now.
Yeah. I mean, good for her. She loves fucking Yakuza.
Yeah, and she even calls Kiryu her husbando, doesn't she?
She does, and Ichiban just doesn't bat an eyelid because Ichiban's seen weirder.
Okay, great!
I'll tell you, Ichiban's got this weird thing, because I think I've told you this before, because he's a fucking video game nerd, he sees every battle as a video game RPG fight, and that's why the game plays the way it does.
Yeah. Like a late 80s, early 90s version as well.
Like, straight up Dragon Quest, because that's the game they're fucking inspired by. And
yeah,
it's really weird, because you get this weird scenario where it's actually unclear what's real and what's not.
Okay.
Because Yakuza's just a weird fucking world anyway.
It is now, yeah.
It was before, dude. Like,
right.
Even when it was Kiryu, all the side stories were like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah. And Majima Anywhere.
Yeah, that was... Like, it made sense, but boy, was it dumb.
Yeah.
Like, there's an actual cutscene from, I forget which Yakuza, where Kiryu and Majima are both peering over past a wall because they're spying on some dudes. And the eye that Majima has around the corner is his eye patch eye. And Kiryu's just like, what can you see? And Majima just goes, I don't know, I think we should trade places. It's so fucking dumb, I love it.
That's just something out of The Naked Gun, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, you're not even wrong. But yeah, it's a fun game. I'm having a blast. Can't wait to actually finish it. But yes, I watched a movie, Rick. I've watched a few movies, but this one's new.
Have you?
I finally watched The Iron Claw.
Okay.
You might remember me bringing this up ages ago. Originally, it had a December release date. It didn't come out till this month. So,
okay.
It's the story of the Von Erichs, a wrestling family.
Okay.
It's basically a biopic in the state, but basically like Bohemian Rhapsody, but for the Von Erichs. It was a good movie. I think
good stuff.
The casting was great. I think everybody looks the way... Well, alright, it wasn't perfect, but you're not going to get perfect. But like the person who played Harley Race, for a second, I thought they were just using archive footage of Harley Race.
That's pretty good casting then.
Yeah, but then you've also got people like Ric Flair, who did not fucking look like Ric Flair, but he managed to nail his mannerisms, so fuck it. As long as the actor can get the fucking voice down, like, fine, I'll give it a pass. There was a good 20 minutes of the film where I was a bit confused, because I thought we were focusing on Kerry Von Erich, but it was actually Kevin.
Okay.
That's the one played by Zac Efron. And the reason why I say that is because Zac Efron looked a lot like Kerry Von Erich until they said it's Kevin, and I was like, oh, oops. But yeah, Kerry Von Erich is the one I'm most familiar with, because he wrestled for WWF as the Texas Tornado. But yeah, the Von Erichs is not a happy story. I knew that going in. They cut out one of the Von Erichs, and I can understand why. They just kind of rolled two of them into one character, which a bit weird, but at the same time, I get it, probably for time. Like, the movie's like 2 hours plus long.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really good. I hope people who aren't wrestling fans watch this and then get an appreciation for some wrestling history. Because the Territory days were fucking wild, man, and they touch upon it in a... It's not the focus of the film, but they touch upon it, and I want people to make wiki dives and learn a bit more about it.
Absolutely.
Another film I watched was The Marvels, because it's finally out on Disney+.
Ah, yes, I remember watching this.
It was fine.
Yeah, I think it was a more accurate, not so much accurate. I think it was a better portrayal of Captain Marvel as a Captain Marvel film than the original Captain Marvel film.
I absolutely agree with you. In fact, I was thinking the entire time watching it, wow, this feels like a character and not a wooden fucking plank.
Yes.
I want to know who the fuck gave Brie Larson her acting direction in the first movie, because they did a shit job. Because she did fine in this movie. What the fuck? How did they fuck it up?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this movie had a female director, whereas the first one had a male one.
I honestly don't know, but if that was... How do you... If that's true, that bothers me even more. It shouldn't be that fucking hard.
Yeah, it shouldn't be that hard. Character behaves like a character and not a plank. It's not something that needs to be written on a script, really, but apparently it does now.
I guess. But they had this problem with Star Wars, man. Like, I'm convinced that fucking Daisy Ridley's a fine actor, but they wanted her to act like a fucking stone.
Yeah, Hayden Christensen as well.
Yeah, that's just a Star Wars fucking issue, I guess.
Yeah. People writing Star Wars can't write Star Wars apart from people that don't need to make the movies.
You know what, come to think of it, I think that's why I gave Ridley the fucking benefit of the doubt, because I know Hayden Christensen can fucking act, but they gave him shit to work with.
Like Anakin shines in the Clone Wars, where you can actually have a writer writing it.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. That was a good series. But yeah, we had 2 end credit scenes, and they were both okay, I guess.
Yeah.
I like the hint of the Young Avengers, but it's gonna take 5 years, Rick.
Yeah, it is. The last one took too long as well, but we kind of ignore it because it led up to the Avengers.
Yeah.
But oh well. This one is going to take even longer because they're going to do it through fucking series as well.
And that's another thing, Rick, is this film really hammered home that, hey, you don't need to watch the TV shows. Anything important that happens in a TV show will make a flashback in the movie.
Yeah, they're going to do a little abridged version in the movies. So, like, yes, you get a lot more context for Kamala Khan, but for Monica Rambeau, it's not that big of a deal. Like, yeah, you don't really need to know how or why she got powers. You just kind of, if you want to just accept it, you can just accept it. I'm pretty sure my parents, who I went to see the movie with, didn't remember that character from WandaVision, there we are, and just accepted that she was a hero.
Yeah, because guess what? She wasn't really a big part of WandaVision. Like, alright, she was, but she wasn't the focus. Like, I don't think anyone came out of that thinking, oh yeah, Rambo has powers now.
Yeah.
People came out of that going, oh boy, I wonder what they're going to do with White Vision. Oh, fuck all in 6 years. It's not been 6 years, but it fucking feels like.
Like, the same amount of time since, like, Mando Season 1 has been since WandaVision, because it basically came out both as launch titles for Disney+. And yeah, they've done a lot more with Mando than they've done with Wanda, because in the very next movie, they kill Wanda.
Yeah, but just that universe's version of Wanda. Haha!
Oh no, tee-hee. The one that we care about, because it's the one from the universe that we care about.
It's like, character death is now meaningless in the MCU because they're doing multiverse bullshit. That's a fact. I'm not fucking... It's not up for debate. But anyway.
Yeah.
I think the second end credit scene was fun because it made you go, oh, that's fucking Kelsey Grammer's Beast.
Yeah, it is.
But you're also like, oh, this is fucking stupid because it's more multiverse bollocks.
Yeah, it's just hammering home that Disney now really does own the Fox X-Men.
Like, it's weird because I'm excited for the prospect of more X-Men, but on the same hand, I don't want it to be the same X-Men from the previous movies.
Yeah. Because even the soft reboot movies, they did some interesting things with some of those characters, and yet not many of them ended well.
Rick, the Skull and Bones open beta happened.
Did it? Yeah. So I saw boxes as a pre-order thing when I was going to EB Games when I was in Oz. So yeah, they were there saying, oh yeah, pre-order this, pre-order it now, get a physical copy.
Yeah, so one of the things they're trying to do with the upgraded deluxe version, and it fucks me off that they do this, but it's Ubisoft, so whatever. They've got a few cosmetic things that you get for paying them an extra 40 quid or wherever it fucking is. But one of them is you get to start playing 3 days earlier with the deluxe edition. That bonus goes away pretty much immediately.
Yeah, that bonus goes away in exactly 3 days. All it lets you do is get a leg up on everyone else for 3 days.
It's like, I understand wanting to play a game a bit early, but you shouldn't pay for it.
No, the only time I would say that it's okay to pay for something like that is if, like, you're a Patreon or something.
But that's different though, isn't it? Because you're not spending 40 fucking quid.
So it's basically a bonus to people who are already supporters, rather than a buy-to-win version of the same thing.
It's not buy to win, it really isn't, because like I played the beta, you can only go up to a rank 5 in the beta, and I'm like, fine. The beginning of the game is trash. I don't like the small strips.
We also know Ubisoft will artificially limit progression because they want to sell bonus boosters.
Rick, I've pre-ordered this game. It's already downloaded on my console. I have to wait till midnight today, as of recording, to play it.
Yeah.
They've already got up on the shop all of the premium currency, and I'm like, this is a £70 game.
Oh, shit and chips.
You should not be fucking hawking a premium currency for premium items. Yes, but it's online and you need premium items. Fuck you.
Have we already talked about the thing of Ubisoft executives saying that players need to get comfortable with the idea of not owning their games?
I was not aware of this, but I assume you've got it in your news.
Nah, not even. It was so long ago that it's not even in my chat pad because I thought it happened before I went away. But yeah, one of the executives had at a round table was said, yeah, we want to get people to be comfortable and happy with people not owning their games because Ubisoft likes having a subscription service. They think that they're big enough for a person to be happy with only their subscription service, and once they're paying the subscription, that's just dead money to the person. Therefore, they are not spending individual amounts on games, and therefore that frees them up to buy individual microtransactions in the games.
That's a lovely theory, but they just released a pirate game.
Yeah. Says it on the tin. Yep.
So it's just like, even if it's not on your radar that people will think this is scummy and not play ball, you're releasing the thing that will combat your thing. Like, okay,
yes,
Rick,
exactly.
you and I like to be cute when we talk about this, where we never actually say the word, we always dance around it. But fuck you, if you don't own the game, fucking steal it.
Yeah.
If you paying the company money doesn't give you the thing, you shouldn't pay them.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a lot of people's takes on it. Like even big companies that are more player-focused, more user-focused, will also agree to this.
I want to quote Lemmy, the lead singer of Motorhead, who hasn't been with us for nearly 10 years. He got asked a question once by someone saying that they can't afford to buy his CDs, to which he said, alright, fucking rob it then.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's the thing. His publisher has already been paid for the item, which means he's already got the royalties for the item that's been sent out to a shop.
I'm not going to be the guy who's like, every indie developer is good and therefore you should support them. But this is why people lean more towards the indie people, because indie people tend to be actually people who like games and are making games for artistic merit or because they want to tell a story, rather than we need to make money.
It's another part of that is that an indie will probably not be a company yet, or a publicly traded company at least.
I've already bought it, but I actually probably can't in good conscience tell other people to buy this game.
Yet.
They've got a 1 year roadmap. Like they're like, this is a year's worth of content, and I'm like, cool, great.
You've got it planned. Why not accelerate it and make it DLC or whatever?
It's not DLC, no, because it's free.
Oh, even better.
It's an always online game, so you've got. It's like they looked at Destiny and went, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, because it makes money, but the players don't like the way that it makes money, but it still makes money.
Last but not least, Rick, on the personal front, I finally got my hands on Godzilla vs. the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Oh man, okay, yeah, the comic.
Yeah.
From, is it Boom Studios?
I don't know who fucking published it. It's Cullen Bunn, and I like his work.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Good shit.
Here's the problem with such a crossover. There's always a MacGuffin that is the reason why the two universes cross over, and it's very bog standard simple. Like, Rita Repulsa gets a multi-dimensional crystal, and then she jumps to Godzilla world, and then the Power Rangers follow her, but they don't explain why, apart from Zordon bullshit.
Yeah, okay.
The end of the first comic has Godzilla fucking breaking the Dragon Zord's back like Bane breaks Batman. It's a pretty good shot.
Yeah, man, I can imagine that being actually pretty cool.
But yeah, it quickly turns into bullshit. Colourful, fancy bullshit that I'd kind of dig, but the plot is nonsensical, but the art's great. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, fair enough.
Rick, it is time for news, and I will hand you the baton and ask you what news you want to talk about.
Okay, the first one on my list is Palworld, and I've got it written down as the smug hate controversy.
Okay, Rick, I just want to tell you right now off the bat, your opinion, I'm actually putting in high regard for this game, because out of our friend group, I know that you don't lean either way out of pettiness.
Yeah. So, I like the game because it is fun. I appreciate that some of the designs look incredibly lifted. Some people are playing this game as quickly and as frantically as possible, thinking that the entire game is going to go away soon. All I can say is the game probably won't go away. Some of the pals might have to be changed for legal reasons.
Here's the thing, Rick. I just want to put this on record because we've both said it before, but we haven't said it on the podcast for obvious reasons. If it was anywhere near as egregious, legally speaking, as people like to claim on Twitter or whatever social media they use, you really think Nintendo's gonna sleep on it? The fuckers who take down ROM hacks.
Yeah, they've not even managed to take down PETA's version of Pokemon, where you actually kill the Pokemon for meat, just like you can in Palworld. But these are actually just the likenesses of Pokemon in the PETA version. Like, it's very obviously a Pikachu, it's very obviously a Charmander.
We'll hash up old ground because we've not done it on the podcast. The only issue I had with Palworld was there was allegations of them using literally AI to design things. That's still been mostly debunked at this point.
Yeah, like even then, like you can feed anything to an AI and get something. I can go on Bing today and say, please create me 3 starter Pokemon, 1 fire, 1 grass, 1 water, and it will just create something.
But that's what I take umbrage with, Rick, because no, pay a fucking artist to do it.
And then from that, you've got a design, and you can pay an artist to like flesh out the design and make it your own style.
No. You don't use an AI to make the design at all. You use an artist for every step.
Sure, okay.
Rick, we have to agree to disagree.
So I've enjoyed small chunks of this game, only in single player. I'm looking forward to multiplayer now that I'm home. I know one of our friends has a server running, but it's at times that are not going to be useful to you. And also, it's not available on PlayStation yet.
I find it interesting that you say yet, because I was under the impression it was never coming to the PlayStation.
I think their goal is, because it's still technically in early access. I think once it's out of what they're calling early access, that's when they're going to focus on all platforms.
So would you recommend this, Rick?
I would recommend it to people that are okay with getting 1, maybe 2 weekends worth of game out of the admittedly low price.
Yeah, man, I remember when you shared this game, not originally, but like recently, before you went to Australia, and I clicked on it, and I went, it's less than 30 quid, fucking hell.
Yeah, so like that's what I was saying. Like, if you're okay with getting 1, maybe 2 weekends worth out of it, like actual full weekends, not just like a couple of hours each day. If you're doing a couple of hours each day, you probably might get 1 or 2 full weeks out of it, and then just essentially the content slightly trickling dry. But even then, I've not explored the whole map, mostly because I haven't had time. Like the amount to play games and do other things has been limited, and that's going to stretch into other things I'm going to talk about. A bunch of other things came out while I was away or just before it. Sonic Prime 3 actually came out before I went away. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur Season 2, which also we got a little screenshot shared by Snuffy of a character that looks like Snuffy on a packet of pretzels. Solar Opposites 4, a bunch of second plus seasons of anime, and the one that I think is the biggest one is the Kevin Smith He-Man Season 2 Part 1. This is Revolution, which is the sequel to Revelations.
I was going to say, this is very weird, because it's not actually Revelations, is it? They've created an entirely new show on Netflix for it.
Yeah, they created a new show for it, so it's Revolutions, not Revelations. I've got the most honest reaction to this from a family member. He saw this, loved it, didn't know that it was a sequel, went back and watched the other, and hated that until the halfway point, and then it kind of got to maybe okay.
You see, this is what fucking bothers me, because when that fucking dropped, Revelations, we did it on the channel, we did the first episode, and I gave Kevin Smith so much fucking shit at the end of the episode. I was so salty. You were fine with the first half. You were like, it was fine, it weren't great, but whatever. And then you loved the second half of it. I went, that's great, but they dropped the first half all as one, and it looked shit.
Yeah. So with the first half of it, like I experienced all that pretty much in a lay-by in the car, so I had very little else to do, and I kind of generally enjoyed the full first half in the once it got to the finale of that, and things had kind of semi-resolved, and then the second half just like took the first half and was like, oh, that was a springboard that nobody liked, but also this was all made at the same time. And yeah, if it had all been released at once, people wouldn't have been as salty, because it had like proper character arcs, and He-Man was in the second half. In this one, He-Man is in it from the very beginning and in every episode, and it's the Hordak season. We get a very fun stinger, which gives us the setup for part 2 of this season that's coming sometime later this year. Kevin Smith was expecting to be slaughtered over this, and has been absolutely floored by the positive reactions that people have had, because people are able to take things as they come and are able to evaluate things based on what has been presented.
Yeah, but even with Revelations, like, I got angrier because of Kevin Smith's reaction to people being angry, because he was just a smug git about it.
Yeah, this time he's a lot more humble about it. Other things that have happened, we have Kadokawa, big old anime company, has bought Acquire Corp, who is the developer of Octopath Traveler. Kadokawa also is like the major holder of From Software, so now we have Acquire Corp, who made Tenchu, now in the same family as FromSoft, who made the biggest love letter to Tenchu in Sekiro, so maybe something will come of that. It's useful that they're now out from under Square Enix's thumb, now that Square Enix is doing weird things, closing things down left and right. They want more profit out of fewer games.
Square Enix, oh, fuck me, they're in such a weird place, aren't they? Because how long's it been when they just sold everything that wasn't Final Fantasy, more or less?
Yeah, like Tomb Raider was the big one, I think, that they sold out from that. It's so weird. They want things, they want more profit out of fewer games. They also want their indie style things to do well, except they're not giving them any funding. Just weirdness all round. But we might be now seeing the end of the console war. Microsoft is relaxing their exclusivity, starting with Indiana Jones and maybe Starfield. It might be that they're just essentially turning the Xbox brand into budget gaming PCs, which is kind of what they already were already. And they have a ominously sounding business update presentation coming out today at time of recording, so by the time this comes out.
I've heard about this one because everyone's saying, or rather a lot of people are speculating that they're going to announce that they're dropping out of the hardware race, and I'm like, I'll fucking believe it when I see it.
Yeah, it's a speculation, but it does seem that like they're opening up their exclusivity is the first stage of something like that. And on the other side of the coin, Sony have now said that the PlayStation 5 is entering the later stage of its life cycle.
Just bullshit.
Which could mean that they're just gearing up for the mid-season refresh with the Pro. Or it could mean that they're going straight into PS6, or it could just mean that they're just abandoning numbers and making it the PlayStation, and everything's going to be like a perpetual generation. We don't know.
There's always been two endings to the whole console war type thing, and that is no consoles or one console.
And it looks like one console, and it's going to be Nintendo's next console, which still hasn't been announced.
The only reason why I don't like the idea of no consoles is because PCs are expensive.
Yeah, PCs are expensive. You can get a better PC than a console, but rarely for less than the console, until maybe like 2/3 of the way through its life cycle.
Well, here's the thing, Rick. The reason why I like consoles is you buy the thing, the games work on the thing, you don't have to do any work.
Yeah, you don't have to fuck about. But I think that is probably about enough from me on all topics. How about you? How have you appreciated the universe outside of yourself, otherwise known as the news?
You should go to Australia more often, because every time you go to Australia, a royal family member dies.
Yeah.
Alright, to be fair, Charlie hasn't died, but he's got cancer.
Yeah. This was something that was burgeoning as we were going out. Like, both him and the girl that everyone likes went to hospital at the same time. She's gone quiet, and he's come back going from an enlarged an enlarged prostate to having cancer of somewhere that they're not telling anybody, which may or may not be the prostate.
It's almost definitely prostate. And, like, if it is prostate, good news for him, because that's very treatable if they catch it early.
Yeah, it's very treatable. Yep.
But yeah, you know my opinions on the royal family. Fuck them. I just thought it was weird that this is the second time on the podcast you've gone to Australia, and the second time something bad's happened to them. On more pleasant news, Godzilla Kong, the second trailer dropped.
Ah, sweet. Okay, this is on the back of Godzilla 0, wasn't it?
Godzilla -1, but they're two different. They're two different universes. They're completely unrelated.
-1's the Toho one, right?
Yes, and this one's legendary.
Sure.
Trailer was fun. It showed us a lot of action shots. King Kong gets a fucking big metal fist, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Someone grabbed a screenshot from really early on, and it looks suspiciously like we're gonna get Mothra coming back.
Sweet.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that if true. Rick, I don't fucking know why, but MAGA and Trump have a fucking hate boner for Taylor Swift.
Yeah, so the girl who looks like the very picture-perfect representative of white American pride has married another representative of white American pride, and the maggots are just pointing at them going, you're not hating people who are not you enough.
Is that really what it's about? I generally don't know.
Yeah, pretty much. The fact that she's not Red Hat enough, and fact, I don't think she's a red hat at all, is what's making them all pissy. Like, they think that anything that they think they should identify with should be hurtling down the same train track as them towards the cliff of oblivion, and anything that doesn't is therefore the enemy and therefore libtarded.
That just makes me more confused, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Okay, Rick, let's talk about gladiators then. Do you remember Wolf from Gladiators?
I do! He used to eat 4 shredded wheat for breakfast.
Wow, okay. Well, his son has been turned down as a gladiator.
Oh, okay.
And Wolf himself was turned down as a host in favour of Bradley Walsh.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, Bradley Walsh is a good host. I'm not going to knock him, but...
He is.
But yeah, that's a real shame, because could you imagine if Gladiators came back and you got Wolf as a host, but also, fuck that, there's Wolf's kid and he's kicking the shit out of people.
Just do boxing hosts where you got 2 hosts that riff off each other.
I'm not in charge of the show, Rick.
Oh, I mean, yeah, okay. But, like, my suggestion that deals with all this problem is have boxing hosts where they riff off each other. It would just be so much better.
I don't know if that's in Wolf's skill set.
Yeah, it's one of those, though. Like, you got your charisma guy, which is Bradley Walsh, and then you've got your former competitor guy. And that tends to be the way that they run these kind of duos.
Rick, I'm familiar with wrestling. You don't need to explain it.
Yeah, fair enough.
You got the colour commentator, and then you got the real commentator.
Yeah.
Gina Carano.
Oh, yes, this lady. Yeah. The well-known extra in The Mandalorian.
She's attempting to sue Disney, Rick.
Oh, yeah, good luck to her. Yeah.
This story is so weird for many reasons. For some fucking reason, I guess because he's got a fucking beef with Disney, Musk is funding it.
Huh. Yeah, I think I remember this. Like, back when Twitter was Twitter and before he even owned it, he was basically saying, anybody who has been unfairly dismissed thanks to woke principles, I will be your legal fund. So she was like the prime candidate for this.
Yeah, but she also doesn't have a leg to stand on because she wasn't actually fired.
No, she was asked to leave because she kept doing things that she kept getting asked politely to stop doing.
It still bothers me to this day because she got told many times by executives not to. It got so bad that her fellow actors on set tried to educate her and explain to her why she shouldn't be doing these things, including Pedro Pascal, who I've read, and I'm not sure if this is correct or not, has a trans relative, so it probably hit him particularly hard.
Yeah, I think it's his sister. I think I've seen her recently on like the red carpet for something or other.
Yeah, I really don't know. I've got surface level knowledge of this, and it's like, if you've been told so many times to stop doing the thing, otherwise there will be consequences, you don't get to be upset and shocked when there are consequences.
Yeah, it was a real surprise Pikachu face moment for her, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, but again, she wasn't asked to leave, she wasn't fired, she just wasn't hired again. Her contract was fulfilled and they didn't hire her on.
Yes, there was an expectation of more contract because there was a show that she was meant to be heading, but they cancelled that show because of what she was and wasn't doing.
Which is a bit of a shame, because it probably would have been fair. Well, yeah, I think it would have been interesting, because it would have been more bounty hunter shit, because obviously we know now that Mandalorian steered away from that element.
Yeah. Like, knowing how good Andor was with essentially a side character, we know that this could have been good with someone who is definitely a side character. And to her credit, her acting got better across the as season 2 progressed.
I mean, I never had anything bad to say about her acting in the first place.
Yeah, she was, like, if you go back to Deadpool, when she was, like, one of the villain heavies.
I didn't even know she was in that fucking movie.
Yeah, I think she was in Deadpool 1. Like, she was, like, the heavy for the villain, and, like, she performed very well as that, because she was just big, imposing, absolute unit of a woman, and kicked the shit out of Deadpool, which is okay, because he's Deadpool, and he exists to get the shit kicked out of him. Yeah, then she showed up in Mando, and, again, absolute unit of a woman. Everyone loved her. And then, during Mando 2, people knew what true colour she was flying, and it was red. So that took away from the experience a little bit.
A little bit. Speaking of Star Wars and sad news, Mandalorian, in fact, Carl Weathers passed away at the age of 76.
Yes, he did. Yeah, Grief Karga is no longer with us.
Obviously, probably known better as Apollo fucking Creed, but...
Yes, but yeah, by people over the age of 31, yeah, probably better known as Apollo Creed.
But also, if you're me, and you fucking love the Predator movie, he played Dylan.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever seen it, Rick, but it did become a bit of a meme, the manliest handshake in the world, and it's Arnold Schwarzenegger and Carl Weathers. It's like, Dylan, you son of a bitch! And then that epic handshake.
Yeah, I've seen the meme, but I've never seen any other Predator movies apart from Alien vs. Predator, which is...
the worst one.
Basically not a Predator movie, yeah.
I actually liked Alien vs Predator. Anyway, yeah, he'll be missed. I don't think there's any overstating how influential he probably was on screen. Like, yeah, he was a bit of a generic action movie guy to begin with, but who gives a fuck? It was the 80s.
Yeah, totally.
Speaking of people passing away, the day has come where we've got no more Dad's Army people left, or at least the original crew, because Ian Lavender, aka Pike, passed away at 77.
Oh, man. Okay. Yeah, well, salute to you, my dude.
Yeah, there's an amusing comic of the pearly gates of Michael asking him what his name was, and you just got fucking Captain Mannering going, "Don't tell him, Pike," next to him.
Yeah, I could see how that was going. Yep.
It's a shame, but, you can always watch... Go on Gold right now, Dad's Army is probably playing.
Yeah, time makes fools of us all.
Unfortunately, I don't know what else he did in his career. I just know him as Pike.
Ditto.
Megamind's getting a sequel straight on Peacock come March 1st without Will Ferrell.
Yeah, I got this fed to me, and problem with this is that the replacement, but probably mostly the directors, are not playing Megamind as a extremely intelligent guy who is awkward, is trying to bullshit his way through his social stuntedness by being smart and being a showman, and just playing him as just like some smarmy git, because apparently that focus tests better with kids these days.
Yeah, well, that's just it, isn't it? This movie and the series that they're also releasing straight after, again on Peacock, which is a United States brand. I don't think we get that over here.
It might be rolled up with something over here. Like I know we get a bunch of things on Disney Plus that are not available elsewhere in the world.
Sure, but I don't think Peacock's part of that. But yeah, the trailers don't make it look good. One of the reasons why Megamind was such a sleeper of a hit is because it is entirely built around subverting superhero tropes.
Yeah, and this was before superheroes were like
overdone,
super everywhere. Like, yeah, I think it was around the time of like, yeah, we'd had like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man, and we'd had maybe the first Hulk, the one that got dropped before the Edward Norton Hulk, the Eric Bana Hulk. There we are, that one. So they had started, but not become the thing that you go to have brain fast food.
Megamind came out in 2010. The first Iron Man movie came out in 2008. Because you were saying all that, and I was like, I swear the MCU had just started when Megamind came out.
Fair enough. Okay, so it was early MCU, before it was ultra saturated. But I think it was like 11 or 12 when we got the Avengers movie. Like before it was that level of saturated. So yeah, it was a good time to release that. Good time in the zeitgeist. Also a fair few years after The Incredibles, which I think was like early mid 2000s.
Fuck off, that was like 2001, wasn't it?
That's what I'm saying, early mid.
Oh, okay, sure.
It was like 1 to 6 kind of timeline.
The Deadpool and Wolverine teaser trailer dropped.
I've not seen this.
It doesn't tell us a lot.
I'm assuming not.
Deadpool being Deadpool, he appears to be dragged into the TVA.
Oh, okay.
The trailer ends with Wolverine's shadow standing over Deadpool as Deadpool shit talks, and then you see the shadow and you hear the snick.
Yep.
So it's good as a teaser, but again, it doesn't tell us much other than the TVA's involved. So Deadpool's clearly jumping universes.
Yeah. Well, like one of his standard powers at one point was just he found a teleporter and he just kept using it in combat all the time.
Yeah, but the gimmick with that was that it didn't work properly, so it went off randomly.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to cut to something we recorded ages ago. Yeah, so enjoy our hypotheticals, because we did those, and enjoy us reacting to Marceline's first appearance.
Nonsense, asinine hypotheticals. Do you have one for me today?
Given the nature of the episode that we're watching today, I think this question is probably a pretty decent one, so let's get into it.
Yeah.
You are forced to share your house with some kind of mythical, legendary, not real creature. What is the most dangerous creature you're willing to live with?
If I say a literal demon, that doesn't narrow it down very much, because we've seen a lot of demons.
You gotta be specific.
The most dangerous.
It can't be an actual named character, I just want a species.
Probably the most dangerous to me would be some kind of angel, because they'd probably find a bone to pick with me over a lot of things.
No, that doesn't fly, and you know it.
No.
I mean, you can just be a massive pussy and just say an angel, and that's fine, but I will think of you as a coward.
Now, I'm not very good at handling beasts, so it will have to be something that is perfectly sapient. Like, yes, a lot of magical beasts are given sentience in the lore, but it will have to be something that can speak. Probably something like a Marilith, or actually, no, I'm going to go with Gorgon.
You will never be able to look it in the eye.
Nope. So I'm going to go with Gorgon. That's the most dangerous thing that I could potentially live with. Obviously, the most famous Gorgon being Medusa. So, how about you? What would you pick for your most dangerous roommate?
Well, unlike you, I don't care if people know that I'm a coward. So, yeah, Anika Mate.
Oh. Yeah, as long as you keep it,
Fed.
happy.
Throw a fish at it every day. It'll be happy enough to leave you alone.
Scritch behind the ears.
There was one version of the question where I was like, the assumption is that it's not trying to do you harm, but that kind of just means what fantasy creature do you want to live with. So,
yeah.
Anyhow, what about you? Have you got a question for me?
So yeah, my one for you. We're watching Adventure Time today, and it's a very simple one. Who is your favourite Adventure Time princess?
Now, I've got to ask you to be more specific, as in, by favourite, do you mean one I'd most want to cuddle with, or one I find most entertaining to watch? Because the second one has a really obvious answer.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the one you want to snuggle with.
Breakfast Princess.
Sure. Pretty good answer.
I mean, you'll suck on her titties and you'll get honey or syrup or something. Like... I've seen some fan art and I'm interested. Like the other picks are obviously people will probably lean towards Flame Princess or Princess Bubblegum, but Flame Princess will scorch you to death, and Princess Bubblegum is both a war criminal and a lesbian. So
and sticky.
I don't really mind that so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, how about you?
I'm going to go with a lesser-known one, Jungle Princess. She only shows up a couple of times, but she's a very cute unga-bunga shamanistic barbarian princess.
I guess. She looks very blue.
Yeah, she does.
She looks like she's got some kind of weird form of leprosy. But
no, she's just dotty.
It's clearly just war paint, but it don't look good.
Fair enough.
Originally, she was supposed to be named Cave Woman Princess.
I'm all for that as well.
And she has never spoken in any episode, so this is motivated by pure lust.
Yes.
But yeah, Rick, those are our two questions. What are we doing today?
Today we're doing Adventure Time Season 1, Episode 12, Evicted. Yeah, this is Marceline's first appearance. So, if you'd like to join along with us at home, it's 3, 2, 1, and go.
Yeah, so we're essentially continuing our theme of looking at characters debuting in Adventure Time. It does mean we're jumping back and forth quite a bit because we took some real latecomers as our first two.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, the good old keyboard taps in the opening.
We were going to do Ice King's first appearance as Ice King, but unfortunately the Wikipedia is inconclusive as to when that is.
Yeah, it gives you an episode, and then, like, in someone else's debut episode, which comes before that, it mentions Ice King, so...
Yep. Well, because, again, the Ice King technically did debut during the animated short pilot thing, but his first appearance on the wiki is listed as episode 17, which is bollocks and not true. Boy, Finn is very high-pitched in these early series, this early season, isn't he?
Yeah, because I think they actually just did hire a kid, and then he just became a voice actor who tried to recapture his original voice a bit more later on. Oh, the worm.
Oh, yeah, I fucking hate this fucking B-plot. To be fair, that's a sound reaction.
Yeah. You gotta love the good old Adventure Time scream faces.
Yeah. Now, Rick, I'm going to ask you to do something that, apparently, according to you, people in younger generations than us do not do. Do you want to do a paranoia check?
What, a paranoia check that there isn't a vampire outside our room right now?
No, I meant a paranoia check on the on the recording device.
Oh, the recording device is fine.
Yeah. They do a good job of making Marceline intimidating in her first appearance.
Yeah. And also super cute.
I do like the fact that her design always has her bite marks on her neck. Also, what an interesting take on vampires.
Yeah, she just takes the red out of things. It's a very kid-friendly version of it as well. I approve.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. There used to be a really kiddie roller coaster at Fort Park called the Flying Fish, and I shit you not, the coaster looked like those fish that were jumping out the ocean.
Oh, the ones with big mouths. Yeah.
That's terrifying. I like how Finn is chill as fuck and Jake is clearly scared shitless. That is not legally binding.
Illegally binding tree carving.
I think this is the most dickish Marceline's ever been.
Yeah.
Although, granted, she does eventually just gift the treehouse to Finn and Jake.
She sucked all the red out of the ketchup bottle.
I thought it was a jam out of jam donut.
Oh, it was a jam donut, my bad, yeah. But it does, okay. Not all vampires have to abide by the invitation rule. But we know that the Hierophant does, and she has his powers.
Yeah, but we all... I don't know.
We also know that he's the only one that cares about that out of all of the vampires that she has the powers of.
Yeah, essentially there are rules, but they're not actually obliged to follow said rules.
Yeah.
I do love that moment of Peppermint Butler fucking rubbing it in his face.
Yeah.
Well, that's terrifying. Oi, mate, fuck off!
I'm kind of digging the song, actually.
Yeah. It's suitably Adventure Time levels of wacky. I like how even
I'm pretty sure
song...
this is Pendleton Ward.
Yeah. It sounds like Lumpy Space Princess, so of course it fucking is.
Yeah.
And this is probably one of the best inclinations that Ooh is a fucked up world.
It is, yeah. Oh, she's feeling up BMO.
Yeah, okay, episode 17, my fucking arse.
Yep.
Just randomly goes into a bluesy voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice that Where Your Heart Is also has walls and a ceiling.
Yep. Also, sometimes Where Your Heart is literally just, between your lungs.
Okay. If you want to be literal and suck the magic out of every single phrase, go ahead, now's the time, Rick.
Yep. Well, that's basically what Pumbaa says. Home is where your rump rests. So they build Marceline's new house.
It's like when we see Marceline's actual house later on, it is just a literal building inside a cave.
Yeah.
But a proper looking house building as opposed to, just a tent. Yeah, no, you can't have both.
Yeah, that's landlord. that's landlord mentality, having all the homes.
Yeah, but she's not renting it to them. She's just, stealing it for shits and grins.
Keeping them. Not how vampires work. Spank Jake.
I do like how in later seasons, whenever you see Marceline in the sun, she's got a little umbrella.
Yeah, or a sun hat.
Spanked your buns!
Man, she's just being a
dick.
She's just being a big sister, really, ain't she?
If I remember rightly, like, Jake put all of his blood into his thumb or something. I would choose Marceline over PB.
Oh, totally. 100%. Yep.
Oh, it's so gross.
It is.
Blah, blah, blah.
It is actually, isn't it? Oh, fucking worms.
As someone who had to deal with mealworms semi-regularly, I really don't like them. Oh, hell, the Hypnotoad.
Yeah, I'm glad the worms get dealt with.
Takes a while, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
It feels like a multi-series, subplot. Da, 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 da. It's hard not to just be chill during these fucking opening exit credits.
And then we get Rederator. Yeah, Channel Frederator.
But yeah, that was the end of the episode. Rick, what did you think?
It was a fun one. I've not very often seen early Adventure Time episodes, so it's a nice insight into things that I haven't seen, because there was a part of, I think around Orgolog that I just picked it up and then watched every episode after that, but some of the early ones I've not seen.
I think between us, we've covered the gambit of episodes, because I was very much, basically until the first, when the Lich took over Billy's body, that's when I kind of dropped off, and I've seen episode episodes after that, but not very many.
So yeah, we've basically seen the entire thing between the two of us, but yeah. But how about you? What do you think?
Yeah, it was a good episode. Almost definitely a classic. It's weird looking at Marceline now, knowing that she was at least partially inspired by Rebecca Sugar.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
But also just like it makes it feel as if Rebecca Sugar would be pretty chill to hang out with. And now I'm wondering if she plays bass. Well, sorry, they play bass. But anyway,
it sounds like a reasonable character trait to carry over.
I don't know what Rebecca Sugar looks like, but I always assumed, I don't know why, I always just assumed she looked like Pearl, and now I got contrasting information.
She doesn't look like Pearl.
I don't fucking know. You know, whenever you, unless I've seen a creator, the first character I see in their show, I just assume is what the creator looks like. And yes, that is a fucking stupid way of looking at stuff, but my brain cannot handle it otherwise.
So, because Pearl says we, she's definitely Rebecca Sugar.
I think I read once that Rebecca Sugar used Pearl as a semi-self-insert, and I think that's what made me relate the two.
Sure.
But
okay.
I genuinely don't know. I don't know.
Well, I think it's because Pearl does the most Steven wrangling.
Yeah, she do.
And she, as the real Rebecca, wrangled the real Steven.
Yeah, who was a background artist on The Owl House.
Yeah. Or,
well, maybe not. Worked on The Owl House. I don't know what fucking job they had. Anyway, we're getting off topic. Rick, favourite moment?
My favourite moment was probably when Marceline just started chilling with the guys and just proving how cool of a person she was. It was ruined immediately afterwards, but, you know, it was cool to just have a new character introduced and be a bro. How about you? What was your favourite moment?
The song.
Yeah, the song was great.
The song was a good song, and as I even said while we were watching it, like, in case you didn't know, by episode 12, Ooh is a fucked up land. You often hear Adventure Time referred to as a stoner show, and it's scenes like this that really sort of cement that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, the song told, like, a third of the story of the episode, at least.
Yeah, definitely. That being said, we don't only like to dwell on the good, we also like to look at the bad. Rick, do you have a weakest link?
I think the growing pains of it just being, like, everything was all fine as an episode. It didn't need the worms.
Yeah, but that's kind of Adventure Time though, isn't it?
Yeah. Like, having the worm subplot that didn't need to happen, I think that's my weakest link for me. But
here's the thing, Rick, is I think the worm subplot happened because that's the explanation as to why Marceline fucked off from the treehouse.
Yeah, sure. She didn't want to deal with them.
Well, yeah, because I don't think Marceline was being malicious the second time.
Yeah, because she gave them the treehouse, and she's quite happy for them to come and visit now and again. But yeah, but how about you? What's your weakest link?
My weakest link is that, at least from her first appearance, she just came off as evil.
Well, yeah, boisterous at best.
Well, it's one of those where, like, she shows up out of the blue and she acts all chummy, and it all seems to be going quite well, and then she just turfs out the boys when she didn't need to.
Yeah.
And then, granted, I do believe it's the worms that make her leave and seek out a new home afterwards, but then she tries to do it again. Yeah,
when they've found a cave that's far enough away from her and the treehouse that she's just claimed back from them, and yeah,
Marceline is an old creature, and I believe that she probably just puts her M on a bunch of places where she's been. I think she never intended it to be used as an actual proof to claim of the place, but because it worked once, let's do it again.
Yeah. She tricked these kids into it, or rather, one kid and Jake.
Jake's basically a kid. I know he's a dad in like 2 episodes' time, but
yeah, I think it was introduced as a 13-year-old boy and his 38-year-old dog.
Yeah. But yeah, we like to end on a highlight. So Rick, who gets your MVP?
This time, I'm giving it to Jake, because he did a very good job of, shielding Finn from the harshest of the realities of being homeless, being there for him,
At the same time, Jake is entirely responsible for them being homeless, because Finn was ready to throw hands, and I firmly believe that if Finn threw hands that first time, Marceline would just went, okay, jeez.
Yep.
But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but by the same token, that's also what drove part of the episode as well. Yeah, you could give it to Marceline for kicking him out, but Jake was present throughout all of it. And yeah, he even tried to do his own song, which was, also pretty wholesome. How about you? Who's your MVP?
My MVP is going to be Marceline, the Vampire Queen, because it's Marceline, the Vampire Queen.
Yeah.
Whenever Marceline is not on screen, everyone should be asking, where's Marceline?
Yep.
Listen, I can't help it. It's such a good joke.
It is. What have we got? They've got no homers, the Chewbacca defense, and where's Poochie?
Chewbacca defense is from fucking South Park, but fair enough.
South Park, yeah, it is, yeah.
But yeah, for real though, I've got a soft spot for Marceline, and granted, this isn't her finest hour. In fact, I think our next in-hand episode will probably have a bit of a kinda light shone on Marceline, but yeah.
Oh yeah, like in almost every other appearance, she is absolute on the side of the heroes.
Never mind the fucking absolutely heartbreaking episode that is the introduction of Simon as Simon.
Yes. Oh boy.
But we'll get there one day, I'm sure. For now, I think that's a good wrapping up point. This is basically what we're going to be doing for the foreseeable future as far as in-hand episodes goes, because they're nice and easy and short.
Yeah. And nobody complains about Adventure Time. If you do, you're not our friend.
Okay, on that bombshell, we've got the comment section down below if you want to reveal that you are in fact not our friend. Alternatively, you can send us an email at
nonsensereviewuk@gmail.com. Once again, that is nonsensereviewuk@gmail.com.
So yes, join us again next week where hopefully we're back to our regularly scheduled programming. Failing that, more Adventure Time. Bye guys!
Bye!